Hi students, welcome again to the literary form class. I'm Mrs. L. Karthiyayani, Assistant Professor, PG and Research Department of English, Rolmegopalli Andava Arts College for Women, Palani. In the last classes, we have seen about epic poetry under the coming under the paper literary forms. Epic poetry, we have seen what is epic poetry, what are the devices used, and how should an epic hero be, and the epic, what's an epic conflict, what is the heroic quest undertaken, and why it is undertaken by the hero. So, all these we have focused in the previous classes, and in this class, I'm going to focus upon some literary devices or literary elements used in an epic poetry, and I'm going to give some examples from literature. So literary elements, what are the literary elements is that we have seen conflict, right? In the previous class we have seen epic conflict. I'm going to discuss about the conflict in detail today. There are two types of conflicts. One is internal conflict and the other is external conflict. Okay. What is internal conflict? In general, internal means that is related to our inner feelings or inner emotions. That is inside us. What is inside us? Inside our physic or psychic something. So that internal. So from the word internal, we can derive the meaning that there is something inside us. So from the term conflict, we can understand that. So this internal conflict, it's a kind of struggle that takes place within oneself. Within the that is, in short, we can tell that it's a struggle between the mind of that particular character and the feelings arising out of that mind. For example, we are very passionate upon sweets. We are very fond of sweets, but at present we are going across a shop, and we are there we could notice one particular sweet which is very much a favorite for me, but I'm now in a kind of illness, and if I take sweet it would create some dangers to me. So when I see that sweet, that something comes in my mind, like whether I can have it or not. I want to taste it, but at present my physical condition says no. Your physics says no. Your mind says no. No, you don't take that sweet. But the desire, the feeling to eat that sweet, the desire to consume that sweet, it keeps on urging us to have that sweet. Please go, please go. The desire tells us to go and relish the taste of that particular sweet. So now there lies a small struggle between this between our mind and our desire. So this is the internal conflict that is happening within us. So this same situation comes to an epic hero when he is in a certain critical position to safeguard or to kill someone who is very close to his heart. I give it for an example. So the second type is external conflict. What is external conflict? Nothing but so internal conflict is the struggle between oneself, and the external conflict between is that the struggle between one and the other, that is A and B. So when a character struggles against the external forces, what all the forces or challenges he meets, maybe another person, or maybe nature, or his own fate. Fate is also an external factor for a particular character, or even his own society. So whatever it may be, he has to face and he has to overcome that. So to be simple, in the recent days, it's a very challenging task for all of us to move away from one place to another place because we are all suffering. We are all amidst the COVID. We are surrounded by the virus COVID, and we have no other way. We have to be simply at home, seeing the faces of each other in our family. So this is a struggle created between ourselves, that is one a human being, that is the mankind, and the society, or natural disaster, or a calamity, or like a disease or something. So this disease is an external factor, and it keeps on pestering us like something else. And this is one challenging task for all of us. This is an external conflict. So there are two types of conflict dealt with in an epic poetry. One is internal conflict, that is the struggle happening in the minds, or in the character himself, and the other is external conflict, where the character faces many struggles or challenges given by or thrown by some other external forces. Okay, now I'm going to give some small examples. One famous epic is Epic of Gilgamesh. This was written in the year approximately 2500 BC. So now we are in AD. After death, we are in AD. Anno Domini we call before Christ. So this was written in before Christ period 2500 BC. It's a kind of it is it's a clay tablets. What is meant by clay tablets? I have mentioned in the PPT as clay tablets. That is nothing but the story. So, and particularly one story, the 12th story, tells of the ruling of the netherworld, so the other world, how the netherworld is ruled and what all happens there. So this is the most important poem in human history. So you should know that in the human history, it's a one important, peculiar, epic poetry. There are some adventures. There is a hero. The hero is none but a king. He searches for immortality. Immortality means endless life. He wants a life which can never be ended, and his life should be prolonging for long hours. This is what he wants, and the hero is the hero. The king takes on his adventure in search of immortality. The main characters, we can say, is Gilgamesh and Enkidu. Enkidu is a wild man, whereas Gilgamesh is two-third god and one-third human. Is not completely god as well as not completely a human. So these are the two major characters. And the next example I'm going to throw is Homer. Homer, the creator of the greatest epic poems like Iliad and Odyssey. So, whenever we write the name Homer, naturally we write Homer apostrophe is Homer's Iliad and Odyssey. So it is an unintentional, it's a spontaneous overflow, as William Wordsworth says, spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. So, similarly, Homer is the greatest creator of two great epics, the Iliad and Odyssey. Is actually is like a minstrel, that is a storyteller. It's a traveling singer or a storyteller, and the period of Homer is around 800 BC. We know that BC comes the years comes in descending order. Okay, the poems written during his period, all they were all oral. They were not written perfectly. It's just a collection. Those poems are just collected by various other people in the later ages. Even before they are written, these poetry were orally told or narrated by the creators, and it was told and written by somebody else in the name of the original creator. So, what may be Coming to the next topic, what may be the feature of an epic? So in the past, the we have no technological advancements or no machineries and etc. What all advanced technologies we use in this 21st century, it's not present even 2 centuries back. Like in this manner, before century, long centuries, before the 20 or 30 centuries, there will be nothing but simply a ruler, how he rules his kingdom, and how the people oblige to his words, and art and architecture, etc., etc. And the most epics we can see contains only kingly figures and wars. So when we say the term war, what strikes us immediately is the Trojan War. Yes, Trojan War is the Trojan War was conducted for nearly 10 years. This war occurred between the Achaeans and the Trojans. What is sorry? Why is Trojan War? Why did it occur? The reason is mainly Helen. Helen is the wife of the Spartan king Menelaus. Helen was abducted by Paris. Paris is the son of the king Priam of Troy. So Paris was mesmerized by the beauty of Helen, and he abducted this lady. It is the wife of Menelaus, and he kept her in his palace. We can just relate this to our Indian epic Ramayana. Ramayana, where the Indian princess or the queen Sita has been abducted by the Asur Ravana. Ravana is a demon, whereas Sita is the wife of the prince, the to be king Rama. So similarly, the same happens here. And Achilles is one main character in Trojan War. After the 10 years war, the city was captured, and Helen returns to her husband. She is brought back by her husband Menelaus, and this Trojan War gets ended. And this is the major theme focused in Homer's Iliad as well as in Virgil's Aeneid. The Odyssey also somewhat focuses the same Trojan War. It's a tale of Odysseus, the character Odysseus, who fought for 10 years in the Trojan War. For 10 years, he did not get his home. He didn't go to home. He didn't meet his family. He was constantly was addicted to his king, and was fighting for the welfare of his country. And Odyssey contains 24 books. And coming to the well-known Beowulf, The Adventures of Beowulf. This was written in 8th century AD. So while studying history of English literature, this epic uh, mm, must be read by each and every student, because only by reading this we would have we had crossed this, and only then we would have studied Chaucer and the other Chaucerian age, Chaucerian and Elizabethan age. So only after crossing Beowulf, we all would have met Chaucer. So Beowulf is the first epic poem written in English itself. That is, the other works are written in Latin. They belong to Latin or Italian literatures, and Beowulf is the first English poem written in Old English period, written in the Old English script. But its author is unknown. We don't know who has written this particular great epic Beowulf. It's an adventure of a Scandinavian warrior. Scandinavia, the country is Scandinavia. It's a kind of tribe. one among the age-old tribes of England, the United Kingdom. Beowulf struggles hard with the monster Grendel, and he saves his country. And so this is very well known to us. The characters are Beowulf, Grendel, and his mother, Hrothgar, a dragon, some fellows. We all know this. Okay, where is it set? The time and place settings of Beowulf is it was set in Denmark and Gatland. The time of the written, that is the epic takes place. What is the period? Is in the 6th century. And coming to the end of this class, why is epic poetry important? So why do we study now? It was if the epic were written long back, before some 2000 years or 3000 years ago. But why should we study now? Why are we studying now? It is stories, just because of the stories contained in the epics. Because stories are it passes stories passed down from generation to generation. Our grandmothers would have heard stories from their grandmothers or grandparents, and and from their fathers and mothers, and they would have told those stories to their children. And now grandparents tell stories to us, and when we become parents, we also tell stories to our children, and our parents tell stories to their grandchildren. So this train journey goes on, and this is the main reason stories are passing from one generation to generation, the other generation, and that's why we give a constant interest upon story. We our interest towards story never diminishes. And some interesting facts and features about the plots, where that is the setting where it happens, and the heroes, how adventurous they are or how valiant they are, and what are the struggles they face, what lesson could we learn from their lives. And some imaginative symbols like Vikram Beetle story. We don't know whether Beetle really went away with Vikramadityan or not, but we believe it's a kind of myth. We believe so. It's an archetype, and events somewhat happening in the day-to-day life. So, for this particular reason, we are reading epic in the contemporary world, and even these epic or these stories make up pay way for the movies as well, and the recent creative writers also. So with this, epic poetry comes to an end. In the next class we shall see about some other interesting topics. Thank you.